So for the second part of tonight's homework, these are all going to be relying on the product rule that you guys have learned already, and we're going to simplify it pretty quickly. So if I look at my two exponents here, and I'm multiplying the exponents, and I'm just going to, my product rule tells me that I just add the two exponents. I'm going to end up with b to the 10th power. For number 14, it looks like I have two terms that I'm multiplying together. I have the x's that I'm going to end up adding with my product rule, 3 plus 8 to get 11 here. And then I have the 5 and the 10 that I'm going to end up adding to get 15 over here. Over here, I have some coefficients now, so I have to make sure that I multiply 3 times 5. I'm going to get 15. And then I'm going to stick with my variable, and then I'm going to add the 4 plus 3, those exponents to get 7. If I go down here, it looks like I have a bunch of different variables that I'm going to multiply together. So I have 5, negative 3, negative 2. I'm going to end up with 30 there. And then it looks like I have a over here, and then I have a to the a squared here, so I'm going to end up with a to the third power, or cubed here, and then I have b to the first power, and then I have b to the third, so I'm going to end up with b to the fourth power. Over here, I'm going to end up multiplying 11 times 44, and I am going to get, and then I also have this mysterious negative 1, so that might be a tricky one, because that's really an invisible coefficient, so I'm going to end up with a negative 44. And then I have one c there, I have one c here, so I end up with c to the second power squared, and then I have a d to the first power and d to the fifth, so I'm going to end up d to the sixth power. Over here, I have that tricky invisible coefficient of negative 1 there, times 4. I'm going to end up with negative 4. And then I have x to the first power, x to the second, I'm going to end up with x to the third power, and y to the fourth power. Down here, oh man, I'm going to end up multiplying negative 15 by negative a third. And basically that means that I'm taking a third of 15. And negative times negative is positive, so I end up with 5. I have x to the first, so I have x squared, y to the 7th if I add my 4 and my 3 together. Over here, it looks like the 5, I'm going to multiply by 1/5, which is so beautiful because it just ends up being 1, and then I end up with my variables with the exponents when I add them together. Over here, I'm basically multiplying a third by 2 by 6. I'm going to end up with 4. And then I have a to the third power, and I'm going to add my 1 from the b over here, and b to the third power, so I'm going to end up with b to the fourth. And then down here, I'm going to string a little bit more together. So I'm going to multiply the first two terms together, which it looks like I'm going to end up with 21a squared b. And then I have my, after my operator, my subtraction sign, there's really, I'm going to be subtracting 4a squared b. Now these are finally in like terms, so I get to combine these now, which is kind of fun. So I'm subtracting 4 from 21, so I end up with 17a squared b. And notice that I did put a box around my answer. That is my expectation. Over here, I end up, looks like I am multiplying 2 terms over here, and I'm going to add it to 2 terms over here. So if you notice the coefficients, when I multiply them together, I'm going to do my product rule with my exponents. Same over here, 3 times 5, 15, and I have x, y to the 5th. And then I'm going to combine, because I finally got these in like terms, so they're speaking the same language, so I'm going to end up with 23 xy to the 5th power. Down here, what do we got? We are doing a similar thing, because we're multiplying with 2 terms over here. We're adding them to 2 terms over here. So again, I'm just doing my same rule. I'm multiplying the coefficients and my product rule with the exponents. Same with over here. And I'm going to end up subtracting 8 from 36 to get 28x to the third y. And last but not least, I've got a couple more variables over here, but I'm multiplying these two together. And I end up with my coefficient, and I get my 8. And my exponents over here, I'm subtracting my 68 through a to the third, b to the 5th, and I'm going to box my answer, because I am subtracting 8 from 60 to get my negative 52a cubed b to the 5th. I hope it went okay. I think that was some good work that you did. Super proud of you. You can do it, and I'll see you tomorrow.